we start the podcast? Because I didn't introduce either of us yet.
Fuck you. I don't need an introduction. I'm better than you.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second episode of Conversations with Landon. Today's episode, I got my main man, Quale here. Longtime, dark-skinned friend. I'm allowed to say that because I'm friends with a dark skin.
I don't. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Quale? What do you do?
Well, I play the tuba. That's my kind of main shabam that I do.
Okay.
Other than that, I make shitty videos on YouTube.
You got a couple on that channel of yours.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to the Pizzagate restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Where we yeah, you know where the shooting was, and
right. In case anyone doesn't know, there was a conspiracy called Pizzagate, and a part of it was that people believe that there was a child sex trafficking ring kind of surrounded this one bar in Chicago.
No, in D.C.
Oh, sorry, D.C. Sorry, we were just in Chicago. It was in D.C. and it was believed that the children were being held in this freezer that was in this one place, and we went to that place. It was actually shot up because some nut job went in thinking he was saving a bunch of kids, but he didn't find anything. No one got hurt, but
yeah, it's kind of bonkers. But they happened to be having a concert that I wanted to go see, and then I looked into like where the venue was, and I was like, I googled it. It's called Comet Ping Pong. I googled it. I was like, oh shit, like Pizzagate allegedly happened here. So then one thing turned into another, and we ended up filming a video there. It was really shitty and turned out way too long. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
yeah,
I think it was the first thing I ever put up.
Yeah, I think it was. I recorded some footage. I never did anything with it, mostly because I had a terrible night. It was my first concert experience, and it was way too loud. I was such a bitch about it. I don't know. I don't like loud noises, and it was in like a basement. It was really echoey too. We were right next to the stage, like right next to the speakers. So yeah.
Did your phone just go off in the middle of recording?
It vibrated. No one heard it, but you pointed it out, so that's cool.
Yeah, nice one, shithead.
It literally vibrated.
Yeah, fuck off. Turn your phone off. Be professional.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Turn on Pizzagate.
Before that, your stuff.
Oh yeah, my stuff.
Plug your channel.
Oh yeah, youtube.com/qualchi. If you don't know how to spell that, fuck you.
That link actually won't work. Like, no joke here. Like, you have to, you can't do that if you're not, like, popular. Like,
really?
You have to be, like, a really, yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, if you actually type in youtube.com/landoammo, nothing will come up.
Oh, okay.
But it's Qualchi. It's like Qual-Chi.
Yeah, C-H-I.
Yeah, C-H-I.
I'll be buying a domain name soon.
Qualchi.com?
Well, no, I'm thinking of, like, clownfart.sex or something like that.
Is that the one from that SNL sketch?
Is it?
Yeah, the one where it's the law office, and they said, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna." We did back when the internet came out. We thought it was just gonna be some trend. So they've run out of domain names. So we're clownfart.sex.
I just came up with that on the spot.
Okay. I think
clown
clownfart is definitely in it. I think that's bizarre. Okay. But yeah, you do tuba stuff. Tell me about the nature of this trip and why we're here in this hotel room together.
Yeah, so
besides that video we're filming, where I
we haven't filmed anything.
No, you know it's gonna be a little later. I'm gonna have you on this couch, and
there's no couch in here.
I'm gonna interview you, and I'm gonna be an agent, but actually I'm just trying to see your tits. That was a funny joke. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening to my funny joke.
There's no couch in here.
Yeah, there literally is no couch in here. Yeah. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
I went to a chamber music seminar. Anybody who doesn't know like what chamber music is, basically anything that's not a big orchestra playing. So yeah, it would happen to be brass quintets for me. So I was up in Wisconsin doing that, Jimmy Jam, and then I picked Landon up from the airport a couple days ago, like 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And
really
yeah, we've been sort of road tripping from Chicago back to our home state of Maryland.
Yeah, we spent a day in Chicago just walking around. It was my first time in the city.
Yeah, I've been to Chicago a lot of times. I've never been there during Lollapalooza, which happened to be going on and started the day before we showed up to Chicago. So we were there
Yeah.
the second day.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was really shitty.
A lot of frat guys, a lot of manic pixie dream girls with glitter on their cleavage. It was bad. There was a lot of people.
A lot of people are shirtless. It was kind of odd. Like,
Mhm.
I guess, like, do your thing, but, like, also, men, please put on shirts.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that. Like, dudes, come on.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just people trying to catch the tail or something.
I don't know.
I don't think that's gonna work, but whatever. To each their own, I guess.
Okay, I just don't like men, so.
Yeah, good one. What else? We went around. What is it called? Their Fifth Avenue.
Oh, it's Michigan Avenue, otherwise known as the Magnificent Mile.
There was this Nordstrom we walked
Oh,
into.
fuck, yeah.
It was a mall, but it was a Nordstrom. It was a mall owned by Nordstrom. But
Connected to a hotel.
Connected to a hotel. It was like 4 stories. The Nordstrom itself was 4 stories, but it also had like these.
Like a hallway that went up 4 stories, and it had shops lining the whole thing.
And all the shops were like rich people's stores. That place was probably one of the best malls I've ever been to. Also the smallest.
Yeah.
So that was a little strange.
Yeah, I think. What was the most expensive thing we saw? Oh, it was a Calvin Klein. We saw a Calvin Klein sweater in the Nordstrom for $1,250.
Yeah.
That shit was bonkers. Like who? Like we were talking about it. Who do you think like has that kind of money? Like,
I don't
to
know.
buy that stuff. Like, because I certainly don't. I don't know anybody who could.
Yeah, like $1,000. That's like at least 2 months of work for me.
Yeah.
I can't imagine spending that all in one sweater.
Yeah. That's gotta be
crazy.
somebody who makes $1,000 in a day or less.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. Maybe we're just poor, but
Like, I don't know. I don't think they were super poor. At least I think they're just. I think just the 1% has a lot of money to spend.
yeah, I guess so. Anyway,
Yeah, stop me from getting political here.
God, what else did we do? We
Saw an orchestra concert.
That's right.
Landon had never seen an orchestra concert before.
Yeah, one of Quale's dad is really to. He plays for the Navy band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of friends, in a lot of places, and he's friends with one of the guys that was playing in this orchestra, and he gave us free tickets. And it was really great. It was a phenomenal show. It was the first time I ever seen something like that.
Yeah, it was a great
Beautiful
orchestra.
hall. It was meant to be played in Millennium Park, right?
Yeah, Millennium Park. They have like this big like open air stage, but since Lollapalooza was happening, there was so much like nosebleed coming from there. They moved it to the inside part of the theater, which was actually a really nice place.
Yeah, it was really pretty. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We only stuck around until intermission, because after that, the guy that was playing in the orchestra didn't play anymore.
Yeah, he only played on like the first piece.
Right.
So it was.
And then we went to some kind of dinner bar place.
Yeah, and we just got we got some food there, and then we attempted to drive out of Chicago.
That was rough.
Ooh. It took us about an hour just to get out of like the downtown area.
It was because Lollapalooza was just letting out.
Yeah,
right as we were leaving. That was insane. Yeah, I remember this. Well, the way that I don't get it, but the way that traffic is set up in Chicago, apparently, the pedestrian walkways, they're almost on a different system from the traffic lights entirely, because your light in a car will be green, but so will the pedestrians.
Only if you're turning.
Well, only if you're turning, sure. But to me, that's such a. I don't understand why they do that. I think it'd be so much simpler if they had them on like separate channels or whatever it's called. But because like every time you go to turn, there's just be a massive crowd of these, again, manic pixie dream girls and guys with no shirts on, and you would like try and beep at them and be like, "Hey, dude, I only got a certain amount of time. You can walk, right?" But
Yeah.
it's such a massive crowd of people that there's really nothing you can do. I remember this one guy specifically looked directly at not us, but the car right next to us, and he put his finger to his eye and like, ran it down his face like a tear, and he did like a pouty face, and then he flipped the guy off. And I was like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, after we saw that, I just started honking at people, and I was like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, no, that was really upsetting. I don't understand why people do that.
Yeah, I just didn't care after he did that.
Yeah. But after that, we drove to another one of Quali's dad's friends who lived in, was it northern Indiana?
Yeah, Northwest Indiana.
We spent the night at his house.
Yeah, Landon felt uncomfortable staying at a stranger's home.
Well, I never met the guy before.
Yeah.
Literally. It was my first time meeting the guy, and I was sleeping in his spare room. It was strange.
I don't know.
It's like an Airbnb, but the guy's still there.
A lot of times at Airbnbs, the guy's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done Airbnb.
I've stayed in several Airbnbs. Actually, there was one time in Montreal where I was staying in an Airbnb with my mom, and we were just staying in their spare bedroom, but everybody in the house was still there.
That's bizarre. I hate that.
I did not like it.
Why would...
Yeah, that was very weird. But they're like, oh yeah, you have free reign of the kitchen and the bathroom and everything, but also meant we had to wait for them to come and go, like, from those places.
Yeah, I would not do that.
And also, when I was there, they had a cat. Cat was great, super friendly, loved it. But one night, it was sleeping, like, on my lap. And, well, like, I was asleep, it was asleep. And then I got up at some point and just started peeing on me.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it was... So I woke up in the middle of the night, I was like, why is this warm and wet? I was like, I thought I had peed the bed. I was like, fuck, the cat peed on me.
You had to leave like a bad review for that one.
Nah, I just told people the next morning, and they were like, oh, okay, we'll take care... Or no, I think I got rid of my blankets and stuff, and I put them in, like, their laundry room. And then I just laid there on my pillow without any blankets or anything. And went back to sleep.
Imagine if you did that at a hotel and they had cats everywhere, and then you had to clean up after their cat peeing on you.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, it was at like 2 a.m, so even if it was at a hotel, like, I probably wouldn't have done shit about it.
Right. I wonder if they thought that you had peed the bed and blamed.
Well, no, I told them what happened.
Yeah, but what?
It was a small pee stain. Like, it was not large.
Maybe they thought you peed a little bit, and you're like, oh, like you did in your sleep, and then you woke up midway.
No, they were like, oh yeah, the cat does that sometimes. Like, that was a common occurrence.
I love how they did not mention to you that happens until it happened.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
By the way, a cat might pee in you. I feel like if they did say that, you probably, well, most people wouldn't stay.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Or just be like, hey, don't let the cat sleep with you, because it has a tendency to not be fully potty trained. That would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, whatever. Also, I was paying $20 a night to stay at this place.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I didn't really give a shit about how bad it was. It was $20.
Yeah.
It was 20 Canadian bucks.
Is that more than or less?
That's less.
Suck
It's
it,
like
Canada.
$17. Something like that.
Well, anyway, we woke up. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Choking on my dick again. Okay. We woke up. Are you okay? Seriously?
Yeah, good.
Okay. We woke up. That's really funny.
You're welcome.
We woke up at this guy's house. I woke up super late. Chloe was already downstairs by the time I got out of the shower. And we had breakfast with him. We headed out for Cleveland, Ohio, baby. Land of the Cleve. That's what I like to call it. It's a little funny joke I have for you. Just a little funny joke. Quali's on his phone right now. Just wanted to let everyone listening know that...
Yeah, well, I'm better than you, so I'm allowed to be on my phone.
All right, cool.
Fuck you.
Okay. So we went to Cleveland. We actually got here probably around, like 5?
Yeah, sometime around there.
Yeah, we took turns driving back here, and we just grabbed dinner at a little Italian place called Mia Bella or something like that.
Yeah, some shit like that.
It was really good. I really liked it. I love Italian food.
I don't like Italian food as much.
Because you're like, what, your dad's Italian?
Yeah, I grew up eating Italian food, so I avoid it when I don't go out very often, but when I do, I avoid Italian food.
Well, you didn't say anything before we went there.
Well, I wasn't gonna be like, no, fuck that. Because you picked it, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I liked it a lot. It was a really nice place.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Yeah.
It was like in this residential area. I've never been to Cleveland before. I've never really left the East Coast before. But I've had a wonderful time. It was great. And now we're back at the hotel. This goddamn Marriott.
Hell yeah. Did I tell you, so Lyndon's my girlfriend. We drove out to Chicago together, and then she flew out. But when we were in Cleveland, we went to this hot dog place.
Oh, yeah.
And this place was like, it's not your typical hot dog joint.
Things get a little kooky and
Well, no. So basically, it was a local like sort of like gay bar, which was great for us. We loved it.
right.
But you could order either a hot dog or a burger. Those were the only two options. But then when it got crazy was the toppings. So let me run you through some of these. So you get to the savory options. So there's meat, cheese, savory, pickled, fresh. And then you choose your sauce.
Beautiful.
So, like, meat, pretty normal. Like, cheese, kind of your average thing.
Okay.
Savory, SpaghettiOs, caramelized onions, Fruit Loops, pimento mac and cheese, marinated cremini mushrooms, garlicky escarole.
I don't think I consider Fruit Loops to be savory.
Yeah, I don't either. It was weird.
It's more of a
bugles,
sweet. Okay.
chunky peanut butter.
Honestly, this just sounds like you could do this at your house. Like,
Yeah, it was very much like you just went into the kitchen and were like, all right, what the fuck do I have? Like, I throw in a hot dog.
Yeah.
And did that.
So did you say that the hot dog place was a gay bar? Or it was near a gay bar?
So basically, it's in the big gay neighborhood of Cleveland.
Ooh, okay.
So it...
Right, the big gay. I've heard of it.
Well, it's like... What is it? I can't remember the name of the neighborhood, but... Anyway, it was a nice neighborhood. Kind of gentrified, but yeah, it was cool. But yeah, so basically we got there, and it was very, very apparent that it was like definitely like an LGBT like hangout spot.
Right.
Which again was super great, and we loved being there with that. But yeah, no, that was kind of one of the like milder points. We were more caught off guard by like putting Fruit Loops on our hot dogs.
Right. I think it's a metaphor. Don't you think?
What? Really?
For like the gay community. That's all they care about is putting things on hot dogs that don't belong. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking homophobe.
You hear it? You hear that, people? I'm out here speaking the truth, okay?
First you say the N-word on the podcast.
Dude, I can say whatever I want on this podcast. It is my podcast. Also, I hate black people. Just letting everyone in the audience know that.
Landon is also a pedophile.
This is not a joke. I'm a pedophile. I hate black people. Please take this out of context because it's not a joke. Like, I'm not being sarcastic or funny. I don't know what those words mean.
Hey, Landon.
Yes.
What about those 4.7 terabytes? How are those doing?
That wasn't me. That was Harrison.
Uh-huh.
I just looked at a couple of them.
Harrison told me that you gave him like half of it.
Yeah. Half of 4.7 is not 4.7.
Well, that's like 2.35.
Damn, that's good. I didn't know that. I can't do math in my head.
That was like easy math.
I can't do math in my head. I'm a film major, but I don't.
I play the fucking tuba. People pay me to play the tuba. I can't do math.
I don't know. I can't do math either. I've never been good at it. I hate math. Math more like meth. Not even once.
I think you got better grades in our math classes in high school than I did.
Yeah, that's true, but that was back when I was happy.
Yeah.
When I was motivated.
Yeah, I think I started off high school not giving a shit. And you started high school by trying and like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get good grades.
Halfway through, I was like, fuck this. Fuck this.
Yeah, I started off at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough.
I started off high school not on a great note.
We go to high school basically surrounded by a field.
Yeah.
It's like 1,200 in the building.
Yeah.
A lot of white people, mostly white people. A lot of hick. Like we live on the eastern shore of Maryland. It's pretty redneck. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of just forests and cornfields and soy fields. Yeah, there's not much going on around here. But it's nice. You know, it's a nice place to grow up. But yeah, our high school, just in recent years, because we've gotten a new principal.
By the way, we had like 4 principals in the time that we were in
That's
high
true.
school.
Yeah. Okay, let's run through them all.
So-
We have Wilhelm, who was amazing. She was the
Wilhelm
best
was
one.
amazing. Like, you come in first day of school, she knows every student's name. I mean, there are 1,200 people there. She
Yeah,
knew
and she
every
knew
person's
everybody.
name, and she knew what was going on with you and like how you were doing,
Right.
and like kept up with you. She was great. I loved her so much.
She worked very well with teachers. From what I've heard from teachers, people always rave about her. How she would come to every show. She would every show for the theater, every game.
Yeah.
But then just the way the district works, they cycle between schools. So her cycle was over. She was moving to a different school, and we got a new principal. This lady, name was Dr. Holocker. She was a doctor.
Oh, she was a doozy.
Fun fact about her: she wrote a book. It's actually still on Amazon. You can buy it on paperback for about $30. Forget what is it called? Oh, I remember. Coming Out of the Spiritual Closet.
Oh, fuck me.
She was the president and founder of the Queen Anne's County. What was it called?
Oh, Paranormal Society.
Paranormal
or, like,
Society. That's
something
right.
like that.
She believed in the afterlife and spirits and crystals and. Yeah, I mean, that did not bleed over into her education work at all whatsoever. But as soon as she got to the school, people were like, oh, you wrote a book about ghosts and you believe in ghosts pretty adamantly.
Yeah.
And everybody made fun of her. No one liked her. She was not very good at her job. She attempted to change school policy. Well, not change. This was already written in school policy, but no one ever followed it. It was basically like no cell phones in school.
Yeah. We
Like-
weren't supposed to have them in the hallways or in
Or
the
at lunch,
cafeteria,
yeah.
Like,
So she was like, all right, here's the thing. We're not going to do that anymore. No more phones. Can't do it. You can bring them in, but they have to be off, put away. Then, can't
yeah,
use them in
after
class.
about like a month or so, like in the hallways, it was a free for all. You could just use your phone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They
They did not enforce it at all.
They could not. They did enforce it in the cafeteria. If you had your phone out in the cafeteria, a teacher would come and take it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was very
so
dumb.
after complaints from that, she, edited stuff like, oh, we're not going to snatch and grab your phones, blah, blah, blah. She was a lot more lax with it. But for whatever reason, she eventually quit.
Well, what happened, which I found out later, is she got a job offer to be basically the second in command for the board of ed for the state of Maryland.
Well, I don't blame her then.
Yeah, basically like
Jesus.
doubled her pay, which already as a principal of like a high school that size, you're making like 6 figures.
Jesus Christ.
So she was making like $200,000 to $300,000 when she moved up.
I always thought she quit because we bullied her too
No,
much.
she didn't give a shit about what we said.
Oh, that's...
She left because she got a better job offer.
I remember it was, I guess it was not orientation, but the first day of school,
Yeah.
assembly for everybody, class meetings. For our class meetings, she was there, and she said something along the lines of there were a lot of new updates in policy about to protect against school shootings. You can't wear your hood up in the hallway, you can't wear hats in the hallway, you got to be stuff. That was pretty much it. And she after saying these new changes, she'd be like, I know you guys think that, oh, it can't happen here, but that's what they said at Sandy Hook.
Oh,
That's what they said at Sandy Hook. That's
I
what those
remember-
elementary schoolers said about guns. It can't happen here. And then they all died. Do you want to die like those little boys and girls at Sandy Hook Elementary?
Yeah, I remember her saying that and just sitting there and just seething. Because, so my grandparents live in Connecticut, and I grew up going back and forth between Connecticut and Maryland, and they live a town over from Newtown, which is where Sandy Hook is.
Right, yeah.
And one of my dad's best friends from high school was the first police officer on the scene at Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
We had a family friend who died being a teacher there. It was not that was something very close to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And just her saying that, I was so angry that.
I think everyone was just angry at her because, one, no one liked her.
Yeah.
Two, she said that. And not even being connected to the event. It's what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I see what your point you're making, but you're being way too
Oh, and we all
hardcore.
booed her after she said that. She go, and then she just kept going with it. It was so fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, but she left, and then we got someone even better.
No, we had an interim for a little bit. We had that dude for like a couple months.
Oh,
remember?
yeah. Well, Mr. Kelly?
I don't even remember what his name was.
Yeah, he was like my middle school vice principal.
No, he came in as our vice principal while
That's right.
while Holocker was there.
Oh.
And then we got another guy
Just like a
as
guy.
as our interim.
Guy.
I don't even remember his name, but I remember he was there for a couple months and he just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So he kind of let things slide.
Right.
And then Hudak, who was the next on the list, showed up, and she relented on the phone rules, and everyone was like happy and cheered. Like there were literal cheers in the hallway when she said that over the PA system.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she got even worse than Holocker.
So the next year, how our parking lot works is, as long as you don't pass. Did you have to pay before?
Yeah, you paid for the pass,
Yeah.
but you could just park anywhere.
No, yeah, first come, first served.
And nobody would bother you or take away your parking pass or anything. It was just, if you bought it, you had it.
Yeah, but there were changes to that after that next year because Hudak, well, what she would do is she got people, or she hired a company to come paint numbers on each spot in the parking lot. And we now had assigned spots in the parking lot. When you got your parking permit, you also got a number. And that number was your parking spot, and that would be your parking spot all year. And, on top of that, they can now take away your parking pass, which is, okay, I get it. Sure. I mean, it really didn't bother me in the end, because I never did anything bad. But our boy Quale over here...
I got mine. So, let me preface this. I'm not the most timely person.
Right.
I'm often late to things that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
So school, my senior year, was absolutely a thing I did not give a shit about.
Fair.
So I showed up late, probably 4 out of every 5 days of the week.
Yeah.
Every day of the school week. So basically, for the first semester, I had a really chill teacher. She and I got along really well, and she never marked any of my tardies. So I went the whole first semester, and it looked like I had a clean slate, no latenesses or anything. Second semester rolls around, and I get another teacher who I really liked, but was more of a hard ass about grades and like absences and like tardies and stuff.
Yeah.
And marked every single one of my tardies. So by about the first month of like the semester, I had racked up somewhere around 20 or 25 tardies.
Yeesh.
Just from like not caring and continually showing up late. Granted, I was carrying in a tuba every day, and I used that as my excuse for a while. But after a while, I started showing up with Starbucks cups, and like obviously just did not care. I was showing up late on purpose. Well, not on purpose, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So what happened? What happened?
So I get called down to the office. They're like, "Hey, we're taking away your parking pass." And I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Okay.
So they're like, "You gotta bring it in tomorrow morning. You can take it for the rest of the day." I was like, "All right, fine." And then I didn't.
Okay.
I came and parked there the next day. Didn't do anything. They didn't bother me that day.
Okay.
The third day rolls around.
All right.
I park there. I get called out of my first period.
Uh-oh.
And they're like, "Hey, in the past month." The month wasn't even over. We were like 3 weeks in. They're like, "You've had 19 tardies." I was like, "Oh yeah." They're like, "You need to go get your parking pass right now and turn it in, and then go find somewhere else to park."
Jesus
They literally,
Christ.
so they didn't even say you could stay till the end of the day because they're like, "We already gave you that privilege the other day, and you should have brought your pass in then." I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Jesus.
So then I had to go across the street, which is about, and like the next parking's place to park was there's an Acme down the street, and that was like just annoying to park at.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty long walk.
Yeah, but the other option was across the street at like the county owns some property, so I parked there, and that became dubbed Loser's Lane.
Right.
But yeah, it actually wasn't that bad. I ended up going and thanking the principal for my upgraded parking spot.
Yeah, because you had I think it was like literally the last, all the way in the back, like the last number.
Yeah, I had the second to last parking spot.
And that's a farther walk than Loser's Lane.
Yeah, that was a farther walk than going to Loser's Lane. And I got to be outside for more of the walk. Because before I would have to come in the back door, cut all the way through the school, go drop off my tuba, and then like cut halfway back through the school to go to my first period class.
Right.
But this way, I could just walk right in the front door, drop off my tuba because the band room was right off like the lobby, and then keep going.
Yeah.
So it took like probably 5 minutes off my morning routine.
Yeah, I think that was a blessing in disguise.
So I went and thanked, because she was like holding it for me because I made up some bullshit about like needing a doctor's note. I've got IBS and I used that, and she was like, "All right, if you get a doctor's note saying that, I'll consider having a chat with you about giving it back."
Yeah, she was such a hard ass.
Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. And then after I parked there the first day and walked over, I was like, this is actually really nice. I get to be outside. I don't mind this. So then she stopped me either that day or the day after, and she's like, hey, do you have that doctor's note? I was like, actually, I'm gonna keep the parking spot over there. It's a lot better than the one I had before, and it's really nice. Like, thanks for doing that. And I walked away before she could say anything.
Jesus Christ.
And I looked back, and she was just, like, standing there shaking her head. Yeah.
You got her. Got her.
Yeah.
Got him. Let's talk about the national walkout.
Oh,
that?
yeah,
What was that?
fuck.
What day was that? What was the date of that? It was like March something?
17th?
No, that was my birthday.
Oh, that is your birthday.
Yeah. I forget. March 14th, I think?
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's my dad's birthday. I don't think it was my dad's birthday.
I don't remember. Anyway, it was some date in March, basically. It was fucking cold out. Well, what had happened was, whatever, what had happened was actually so interesting. I was actually planning on making a documentary for a short while, but I never did. Basically what happened was the national walkout, because of the shooting that happened in Parkland, down in Florida. There was a lot of buzz building up over it, and they had a date planned for every school in the U.S. and everywhere else that wanted to participate would at 10 a.m. to 10:20 or 10:17, I believe.
Yeah, for the 17 people who had passed away. That's what I was thinking of with the 17.
Right. You would just calmly stand up and walk out of your school. It's a walkout to protest, gun reform, or stuff.
Protest
stuff like
for gun reform.
For gun reform.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 days or so before, like less than a week. The school comes out with an email, and the Board of Ed comes out with the same email.
Basically, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They were not fans of it, basically.
No, they were supporting an alternative where we'd all come out and sign a banner and then ship it to the Parkland High. Excuse me.
Yes, Marjorie Stoneman, I think.
Yeah, that's right. And they were like, we strongly advise against any sort of walkout because, I mean, they were right because in that regard because it would be dangerous for students. We'd just be standing outside of the school. But that's the point of the walkout.
Yeah.
That's what we're protesting. Anyways, it was actually really tense situation because I had my first period was Mr. Callahan. He was the play director guy.
And the theater teacher. Very, very chill, like progressive dude. So he was all for us going out there and doing it. And he would have been out there with us if it didn't put his job in jeopardy.
Yeah.
But
none of the teachers I think were allowed to go out with.
Yeah,
none of
they
them
would have
did.
had corrective action taken against them. That's what he told me. So basically, he let Landon kind of just go free out the back door. Of the
Actually,
theater.
I wasn't in his class when it happened. I was in Miss Tinkle's, but I'll get to that. But basically, he told me, and then Jesse, our good buddy, he was in that class with me. Everyone in the class, basically, he told this. He showed us the email that was sent to all the teachers, and he was basically like, "Oop, I left this on the wall. I forgot to turn my projector off." Tee-hee. And it basically said stuff along the lines of, if you see any students walking out, you can't take any sort of action against them. You can't stop them. You can't report them for anything. All I need you to do is write their names down.
Oh, fuck.
So, ask for their name and write it down. So I think the idea there is kind of like intimidation.
Yeah.
Like, you think you're going to get in trouble, like, I should probably go back. But luckily that didn't happen. And also there was a list of every teacher for every door, for every exit. There was going to be someone stationed.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to stop you, but they are supposed to ask you for your name. And
There was one teacher, I think it was the academic dean, Miss Kenna, who like basically beforehand had told like a small group of students that she knew like would spread the word like safely, that she wasn't going to take anybody's names and to go out through her door. She would spread to the rest of the staff. So I snuck out through her door, and she just said, and like as we walked out, she just said, "Be safe, guys. Like don't do anything stupid."
Right.
And that was it. So Landon was already out there with a camera. Do you want to tell him what happened?
let me tell this story. I'll probably put the footage up on screen here. I still have it. So first let me preface this. I was in Miss Dinkle's class. She taught history. She was this sweet old lady. She was like a teenager in the 60s, so she was very much for the protest, but she wasn't allowed to say it because of her position. And I was the only one in my class that walked out. I stood up and I was like, "Miss Dinkle, if you need to write my name down or anything, I'm going to be participating in the walkout today." And she was like, "All right, Landon, go ahead then." And she was very much supportive. She was such a sweetheart. I love her to death. So I walk out the door, and I'm expecting a teacher to be right at the door next to her classroom, because she's like right at the end of a hallway in the first floor, and there's no one there. So I was like, nice. Okay, I don't have to deal with that. That was the most nerve-wracking thing. My heart was beating like crazy. I got really nervous. So I walk out, and I go around the corner, and I'm starting to walk along the front of the school to get to the meeting point. It's like where the flagpoles are, right in front of the building.
And you were like the first one there.
I was the first one. I was a little early because I just tend to do that. And I noticed that in the parking lot right next to the band door, which is like right near the entrance of the school, there are 3 police officers in their cars.
Oh yeah, also there was a ton of police there. Probably at least half a dozen or probably 10 like patrol cars.
There were quite a few.
Yeah.
I remember seeing 3 of them there. I'll put the stuff up now.
I've got some footage too. I'll send you.
I gotcha. I was walking along and I was like, oh shit. And I started recording. And I'm just kind of keeping my camera on them. I'm not like being obvious about it. I'm holding it to my stomach, like I have it on the strap and everything. And I'm like freaking out. Like you can hear me breathing in the footage. I was such a little bitch about it. I thought they were gonna come out and stop me and like be like, no, you can't be here, blah blah blah. I don't know what I was expecting.
Oof.
So I walk by, nothing happens, thank God. And I stand out, and I'm the first one there. So let me paint you the picture here. I'm the only one out there. I'm a couple minutes early to this event. I'm about a little over 6 foot tall, quite heavy, on the heavier side, over 200. And I've got this hat on, these glasses, a bit of a neck beard, and I've got a camera strapped around my neck. So I kind of look like a photographer for like a newspaper or something, or like a video journalist or something. And so Miss Hudak pops her head out the door, like, sir, you can't be here. And I was like, oh no, I'm a student. My name's Landon Hamilton. I just came out of Miss Dinkle's. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, bud. And then she shut the door.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh. I don't blame her.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Sure.
Because I did look like an adult man.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I'm a tall guy. Basically, then people started showing up. I met up with Quale. And
yeah,
Jesse
I was
and everybody.
filming there as well.
Yeah, we were both filming.
I think I filmed basically the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so as we were walking back, as it ended, I filmed us walking in, and I filmed the police or presence, because it was a really tense scene. It was very, very weird. Like, I don't have another word to describe it other than just tense and weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was filming as we walked in, and there was probably a dozen or more staff members standing. Like, there was sort of like, in the airport lines, they've got like the extendable ropes that they'll like put like to mark you like how to go to TSA and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we have those going into the front office.
Right.
So we had those, but on the other side of that, sort of like watching us from the middle of the lobby, we had about a dozen staff members.
Yeah, just all in a line, just like with their arms crossed.
Arms crossed, like powerful, like sort of spread stance, like just staring at us.
It was very strange.
So I was filming us walking in. I was like putting the camera up like so you could see above everybody's head, and then I panned over and filmed that because I thought that was pretty powerful. Like just like looking over at them and like seeing the literal opposition.
Yeah, striking imagery. Yeah, for sure.
So I thought that was a really good like image. I was like, nice job, little amateur filmmaker shithead.
Yeah.
So I was like proud of myself. And then I get back to my classroom, and I get called down to the office. And so I go down there, and I knew already, like, me and like my friend were there, and she's like, don't bring your camera, they're gonna ask you to delete the footage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right. So I left all my stuff in the classroom. They couldn't have gone through my backpack anyways.
Right.
Because Fourth Amendment, all that. Make sure you know your rights, kids.
Hell yeah.
So I go down there, and Mrs. Hudock starts grilling me. She's like, Quale, so were you part of the walkout today? I was like, yeah, you saw me out there. I saw you when I came in. And she was like, okay. Were you filming or taking pictures during it? And I said, yes, I was. She goes, why was that? I said, well, my friend Landon and I have decided to make a little mini documentary about like these events because we feel like this is a very tense and important time in our country's history, so we thought it would be cool to like document it.
Yeah.
So I told her that, and she goes, did you film staff members when you walked in? I said, yes, I did. When I walked in, I panned across them. But that was it. And she goes, okay, why did you do that? I was like, well, it was a good artistic shot. And I was like, she was like, why did you do it? And I was like, nothing else added, just why did you do it? Like
Jesus.
And I was like, it was a good shot. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
No, what you're supposed to say is, I was trying to dox you. I was trying to give out your public information to everyone so they can come to your home and, call you bad words.
Yeah, and so she's like, well, you better delete that footage. Not like you need to delete that footage for legal reasons or whatever. She's like, you better delete that footage or you're not going to like the consequences. I was like, what? So after that, I absolutely was not going to delete the footage.
Yeah, of course.
I never did anything with the footage, but I still have it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was sort of crazy. And then I got, like, every time I would go through the front office, because I was still showing up late to school, I mean, like, even if they call me down to the principal's office, I don't give a shit. I'm still showing up late.
Of course.
So the ladies at the front desk would be like, hey, you would be smart to delete that footage. And I was like, all right, yeah, it's already done. Don't worry about it. And Ms. Hudock asked me about every day for a week. Ended up calling my house and
really
and asking my parents about it. I don't know if I told you that.
I don't think you did.
She called several times.
Jesus.
It was probably like 2 or 3 times. So she called first the day of the walkout. She called my house. Told my parents like what she saw. I went home and told my parents like what happened. They're like, "Oh, that's fucking dumb. Don't delete that." And so
that's great.
She called again, and she was like, "I just want to confirm that Quale deleted that footage." And I was like, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll make sure we talk to him about getting rid of it." And then my parents were like, "Yeah, she called again." They're like, "Did you delete it?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "Okay."
That's great.
But the best part about it is the law in Maryland for like video recording people is that it's their duty to get out of the way.
Yeah, you remember you telling me that.
So I can film whatever I want, but they have to be out of the way. And even if the laws are different, the strictest laws about filming with like animosity. Right,
yeah, I don't know.
Fuck. It's a little late. So is like you have to blur their faces beyond recognition. So that probably would have been what I did.
Yeah, you never did anything with the footage. That's
I didn't do anything with the footage. But if I were to ever do anything with the footage, I'd blur their faces, so that it wouldn't.
If anything, that like helps with the artistic, point of the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking away the identities of these people. Kind of makes me. Yeah.
So yeah, I never said anything about like the legal side of that to her, but I always thought that was ironic.
Yeah, because like yeah, I don't know. It was a complicated situation.
Yeah, it was very like, oh, like, yeah, I was
Very heavy.
Yeah, I was very like nervous about that for several days because I was like, I didn't look like I'm a fucking idiot, and I didn't look into the law or anything like that for probably a week or so.
Yeah.
And I was just like super scared about having this footage, but I had basically refused to delete it because I had like promised myself I wouldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, of course.
Like just moral and artistic reasons.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I kind of want to talk about my first flight, if you don't mind. Moving
that
subjects.
Your first flight.
It was.
Well, first flight by yourself.
My first flight at all.
Really?
Yeah,
you
that was the first.
Before?
That was the first time I've flown.
Oh, that's why you were fucking scared.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was your first flight by yourself.
No, it was not the first time I'd ever run on a plane. First time I'd been to an airport.
Oh.
Whole process.
Wow. Okay.
So it was a 6 a.m. flight, and I live about an hour away from the airport. But my dad flies all the time, and his rule is get there at least like 3 hours early. And it's a little ridiculous for me, but I kind of understand now after going through the process. So I get to the. Well, first off, I wake up at 2 in the morning. That's the time we chose. I was dead. I got all my shit. I got in the car. My dad drove me there. I fell asleep in the car. I wake up. We're in the parking lot of this airport. Beautiful architecture, by the way. BWI is a really nice airport.
Yeah, it's a very nice place.
So then let me just try and remember the series of events here. That's right. I walk up to like the ticket area, I guess, and I go over to the little Spirit thing. I flew Spirit because it's very cheap. And I got my ticket, got my bag thing. I checked the bag. My dad commented on the nature of. Well, it was very busy. It was very busy, and it was surprising because it was so early in the morning. On like, I guess it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
Or no, would have been Friday. Friday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well.
Or early. No, yeah, you're right. Early Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. Well, it was really, really busy. There's a massive line going into TSA, and my dad was like, or I made a subtle joke, but I forgot what I said. But he was like, "Yeah, this place is really ghetto."
Oof.
And there were like 3 black ladies right in front of us as he said that, and I was like, all
yeah,
right.
not smartest move.
He means well. He's a sweetheart. He just yeah. He was like, yeah, this place is like cattle call, man, because he typically does like I don't know, like business class, like Southwest stuff, because he flies a lot for his job. But yeah.
And we flew Landon out to Chicago on good old Spirit Airlines.
The cheapest airline out there. I mean,
yeah,
it worked. No complaints.
It's great. It's super cheap. But it is shitty as fuck.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Apparently, the customer service from the not the flight attendants, but the people checking the bags, like the people at front counter or whatever, was the worst that my dad had ever seen. Because she kind of just like ignored me, and I was standing at the edge waiting for like assistance or whatever. Patiently. I'd never been in that situation before. I don't have any preconceived notions of what this should be like, so I'm just like, okay, this is normal. And she like slowly like turned over to me, and she was like, oh, you can come over here. I was like, okay, and I come over and yeah. But yeah, he follows me in the line up to like the gate where they start doing the stuff, and he's like, well, bud, this is where I leave you. He ran through the whole scenario with me, like you need to take off your belt, your shoes, put your laptop, and whatever you have with you. I had a mic with me, and he was like, you should probably take that out too. Any sort of like electronics, large electronics like that, they want that to be scanned separately. So I was planning to do that. I took my belt off already. I put my wallet, keys, phone, everything in my bag. And I get to the line, and he's like, all right, bud, this is where I leave you. And we start walking through. There's a canine search, a dog walking by, sniffing everybody. And then we go to where the x-ray machines are, and they're like, all right, just put your bag on the side. That's it. You don't got to take your shoes or your belt off. Keep everything in your bag. and put it through the X-ray. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I double checked, looked at the guy. I was like, excuse me, sir, do I take my shoes off? He's like, no, just put everything in the bag, walk through it.
Wow.
Like, okay. Yeah, it was way easier than my dad was making it out. So.
Yeah, I mean, generally it's sort of like a hassle to get through there.
Yeah, it was a massive line, so I think they had to like change things around.
Yeah. Yeah, I generally fly at like weird times of the day, so I can like it's not ever busy when I go.
Right.
So it's generally pretty easy to get in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the worst security experience I ever had was flying from Mexico to the United States.
Really?
I got pulled for random selection.
Right.
With air quotes around that.
Yeah.
Twice in the airport. Coming back. I was in Cancun.
Was it in the same airport?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, when I was going through just like the regular like TSA or whatever, they pulled me out. They're like, "Hey, you've been picked for random selection."
Mm.
And I was like, "Okay, whatever,
Right.
it happens." And then I get to the gate, and they do it again.
Oh my god.
They're like, "Hey, you've been picked for random selection." I was like, I was probably 13 or 14 at the time, so I was like, "Oh fuck, no! I don't want to lose my mom and my sister." And they're like, "You'll be fine. Just get the fuck over here."
So did he tell them that you had already been selected?
No, I just was like, "All right, whatever."
I wonder what they would have done if you told them that you already been selected, like that day, like that visit.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess you'll never know. What are those like?
Well,
Like,
like
what do they
basically they'll take, if you've got a backpack or any sort of bag on you, they'll take your bag and go through the entire thing.
Mhm.
Sort of like they do when they. Have you ever you've never gotten a bag pulled at TSA?
No.
But basically they'll take it and they'll root through the entire thing, like go through everything, like make sure you don't have anything on you, and you get a thorough pat down.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not a fun experience.
Any grundle?
Yeah, they touch your grundle.
They get down and dirty down there.
They don't touch your butt as much though. That was very weird. And like I was 14, so it was like even weirder.
Was she hot?
It was a dude.
Was he hot?
I don't know. He was just like a random like middle-aged Mexican dude.
Nice. Was he thick?
I don't remember. It's like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Continue with your story.
I think that's the whole story.
Oh,
essentially.
cool. I was just being an asshole.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I get through TSA. I sit down. My flight's in 20 minutes. I'm right near the gate. I just put my belt back on like an idiot. I walk over. I'm wide-eyed, bug-eyed like a deer in headlights. I look like such a stupid idiot because I'm wearing this pink sweatshirt. I probably look maybe a little bit on the mentally disabled side because my eyes are popping out of my head. It happens when I'm really anxious, but because I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to miss my flight, blah blah blah. And I'm just walking through. I get to my gate, easy breezy. I get on. I'm seat 1A, right at the window, right in the front row. Couldn't have had it better. But I had quite the stereotypical plane experience. Baby that was crying. I had a very annoying neighbor. They had sneezes that sounded like screams. They didn't sound like sneezes.
Christ.
Yeah, I told you about this.
Yeah.
I would mimic it, but we're in a hotel room right now at about 11:30, so
Yeah, not a smart idea.
not gonna attempt it. But it was very jarring. Sure, her headphones were very loud. I could hear everything she was listening to. I think it was Astroworld, which just came out like the day before. Anyway, on top of that, as people were boarding the plane, there was one lady. She was the last to board in the cabin. She walks in. She's this decrepit, old, kind of plump. She's this afro of red hair, glasses, very pale, very wrinkly. Crawls into the cabin with this luggage, and she's smacking it up against the walls of the cabin and the little partitions and dragging it basically. And she turns around to the flight attendants and she goes, "Anybody gonna help me with this?" and points to the luggage. And the flight attendant says, "Oh, right away, ma'am. Sorry." And then, picks it up. I was like, what is your deal, lady? You're gonna do that in front of a plane full of people on top of that? No shame. No shame. That lady had no shame.
Yeah, that's...
Jesus, terrible. Treating that poor woman like that. It's rough. But anyway, my first flight ever. I was very nervous. I thought, I didn't really think anything in particular. I just thought, I'm not going to like this, I feel. But then, I kind of ended up in my head like, oh, maybe I'll just say roller coaster. Yeah, I'm on a roller coaster. Shut up, brain. But
You hate roller coasters.
yeah, I don't like roller coasters either, so I don't really know what I was trying to attempt. But anyway, it worked. I take off like, wow, this actually feels cool. Like it feels like the point in a roller coaster where you're dropping,
Yeah.
but just constantly because you're in the air. I liked it. I opened up the window. You could see like everything floating down, and it was right at the sunrise too. So right as we passed through the clouds, it was this beautiful like pink and orange light.
Oh, I love flying at like that time of day.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. So yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Plus, I got to hang out with my buddy in Chicago.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to think. What's been my worst flight experience? I think definitely flying to Australia.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, a lot of my like family on my mom's side lives down in Australia.
Right.
They're kind of scattered all over the world, but a large chunk of them, of like my immediate family, is right in like Australia, and this around the same area in Melbourne.
Right.
So I've flown down there a few times, and from Maryland it's a 6-hour flight to get to LA. But before I did that, this last time I went, I drove up to JFK, which is the airport in New York.
Right.
Flew from there to LA, did a 3-hour layover.
Oof.
So we're at 9 hours of travel. Well, actually, we're more than that. So we're going up the Jersey Turnpike. Only time I've ever seen this happen. The entire turnpike was shut down, and we had to detour all the way up to New York.
Why was the entire turnpike shut down?
There was a section of it, but like the entire all lanes were
all
shut
lanes.
down.
Jesus Christ.
Because there was a tractor trailer that had flipped over and was on its side, covering all of the lanes.
Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it.
So
Shit.
we had to detour all the way around. So we'd been traveling for probably 4 or 5 hours at that point.
Okay.
To get up to New York, which is normally a 3-hour drive max.
Okay.
So we're out there 5 hours. We fly 6 hours. We're at 11 hours. 3-hour layover. 14 hours.
Oh God.
And then we get on our flight 17 hours
Oh my God.
in the air before we touch down in Melbourne.
What was that like?
It is not fun. But yeah, anybody keeping score at home, I believe that is 28 hours
Shit.
full traveling. Yeah, that
That's
was...
a day. That's a literal day.
Yeah, it's awful to make that trip.
I hate that.
I love Australia. Australia is probably my favorite place on this entire earth that I've ever been, and that probably I will ever go to.
Really?
I love I love being down there. I lived down there for a short period of time. Like when I was younger, I lived there for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Japan?
Never been to Japan.
Yeah, but it's objectively the best nation on the planet.
Fuck off.
I thought you knew this, Quale.
But yeah, honestly, the service in the flight was great. I watched a bunch of like shows and stuff, listened to a bunch of podcasts. I got through like several entire seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That was my introduction to that show.
God bless.
And I just marathoned a whole bunch of it.
Were there any annoying passengers?
There was this kid behind me who was kicking my seat
Oh my
for
God.
hours at a time. His mom kept
Why
trying
is
to get
that
him
a
to go to sleep.
stereotype? Why is that a stereotype? Why do kids kick things?
I don't know.
I would never attempt that as a kid.
I think they probably don't think about it. They just put their legs up there and like not really think about it. It's like when they're in the car or whatever. Like you put your legs up
Yeah.
on the back of the seat in the back seat.
No, like if my dad or my mom ever saw me doing that, if I was a kid on a plane, they would be like, "Stop!
Yeah, my parents would have
Stop that!"
knocked that off immediately.
I mean, I'd do the same exact thing. I don't see why it's such a problem.
Also, like, it is awful to try to sleep on one of those flights. You can't get
Oh my
comfortable.
God,
Like
no.
the best sleeping position objectively on a flight is put down your tray table, lean down onto that, like with some
Yeah.
headphones or earbuds in. That's about the most comfortable you can get.
Yeah, I tried sleeping on the flight to Chicago, and I did. I actually nodded off for about half an hour, but
That's about all you can do is about half an hour at a time.
yeah, I kept getting woken up because actually I forgot to tell this part, but there were these two people directly behind me that were talking the entire flight.
Oh fuck!
It was like an hour and a half. It wasn't that long, but they would not shut up the entire time. They were laughing loudly, being annoying. And while here I was trying to sleep, but hey, whatever. And it turned, what I think was the case after the fact, I saw them coming off the plane, and I was like, I think that was a mentally disabled person and their caretaker.
Oh.
So I think that's what that was. So if that's the case, no judgment. I understand if that's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like, hey, whatever. My hour and a half of sleep, I don't really give a shit if that's the case. But yeah.
Yeah, when you're flying and in the air for that long, you're truly in a liminal space. Like, you don't know how long you've slept. Like, a lot of times you'll put your head down and you'll put your head up and you've been asleep for several hours. Sometimes you put your head down and bring it back up and you've just had your head down for a couple seconds.
Wow.
It is really a bizarre experience. Everyone is in different stages of being awake and being asleep. You get a full day's worth of meals on the flight. And the meals aren't bad. Like,
That's good.
I flew Qantas, which is like the Australian official airline, which is phenomenal. Anybody who wants to fly on that, please do. It's well worth it. I really enjoyed it.
What are your opinions on Air Korea?
I have not flown it, but I know it's like supposed to be one of those really nice luxury.
I just think it's funny. I don't know why. Maybe I'm racist, but I just think the name Air Korea is funny.
There's also Air Dubai, which is another super high class.
Well, that makes sense. It's Dubai.
Yeah. I don't know why those two are like super like high class. I mean, I get Dubai, but like Korea.
South Korea specifically, yeah. It's
a sort of high class country. They sort of lead the world in fashion and whatnot.
Technology, they're up there too.
Yeah, I would pin them as probably one of the new emerging like world leaders, and I think they're already a world leader, but I think they will probably surpass the United States as the most powerful democracy.
Are you for real?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for real.
No, okay. I don't know anything about politics, so.
I am very engaged in politics.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, elect Donald Trump as president. I don't give a shit.
Fuck you.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I told Landon this story, but I got sort of held up by the Polish mafia.
Oh.
On my first night in Chicago, I came back down. I was up in Wisconsin. I drove back down to Chicago. I was staying like right outside of O'Hare Airport, and I got down there around dinner time. Went, laid down for an hour, got back up. Like, left my hotel probably around 8, like 8:15, like 8 o'clock or so.
Mm-hmm.
Found this Polish restaurant, and I was like, oh, okay, this should be good. There's a large Polish community in Chicago.
Right.
So I show up there, and they're closing in half an hour. Like, I got there at 8:30, they're closing at 9. I was like, I'm not going to show up in there. So I go back to my car, and I'm looking through, like, TripAdvisor, like, trying to figure out, okay, what else is in the area? Can I just go grab a pizza or something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And this car pulls up next to me. It's like a nice, like, sports car. I don't really think anything of it. I just kind of look over, I was like, oh, that's a sports car.
Right.
And then then the person gets out, opens up the trunk, opens up something else in the trunk that I can't see from being parked next to them, looks at it over, like, several times, like, as if they're just trying to, like, as if they're very nervous.
Right.
And then they close up the trunk and everything, go sit back down, and they're kind of, like, glancing around. They keep looking over at me.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there on my phone. I looked over at them a couple times because I could see them in my peripherals, like, looking at me. I was like, the fuck are you doing, dude?
That's strange.
Then another really nice sports car pulls up right next to this car.
Uh-oh.
And the guy gets out, he goes, walks over to the other guy. They look in the trunk. They open up the thing in the trunk that I can't see still.
Right.
The one guy shakes hands with the other guy, hands him a wad of cash. And then the second guy who showed up walks over to my window, knocks on the window, says, "You haven't seen anything, kid." Like, And he's sort of like, he's talking in a South Chicago accent, like talking outside of his mouth. He sounds kind of like this.
Right.
He's like, hey kid, you haven't seen anything. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, yes sir, I don't know what you're talking about. And as he's saying that to me, he is showing me that he has like a gun, like on him. And I'm like, oh, and he goes, good, keep it that way. And I'm like, yes sir. So I wait for both cars to leave, and then I leave, I go to a Starbucks, I get dinner at Starbucks, and I go and hide in my hotel room.
That's such a cool story. I mean, that's terrifying, but Jesus, that is the coolest. You witnessed the drug deal.
I don't even know if it was drugs. It could be guns or like something like that.
You witnessed a mafia deal and survived.
Yeah.
They threatened you with violence, with brutal violence.
Yeah.
And you survived. I mean, it wasn't, you weren't in like any, you were in danger, sure, he pulled a gun.
Well, he didn't pull the gun. He just showed me he had it.
Right. It
was sort of like sticking out of like the back of his pants, like, like sort of like spy style.
Yeah, it seemed.
And then he like sort of like lifted up his shirt and like he was like leaning against my window.
I don't know if it's the way you told the story, but it seemed kind of playful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't know.
He was definitely trying to fuck with me as well, like because, yeah, he knew like he had the power in the situation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I doubt you would do anything.
No, like what am I supposed to do?
Oh, are you doing drugs, mister? I'm gonna call the police.
Yeah, exactly. No, you get shot then.
Yeah, no. I think, I don't know if I'm pretty sure the guy was aware, but like, that is the ultimate Chicago experience.
Yeah.
That's better than a deep dish pizza. That's better than the Sears Tower. Like, witnessing a Polish mafia deal.
Got it.
And then being threatened after it's done.
Yeah, that was spooky.
That's just very cool to me. I'm very into mafia things.
Yeah.
I'm very much a mafia guy. I love the Scorsese films, Casino and Goodfellas and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of like, my grandfather is like knows a lot of people who are connected.
Oh yeah.
There's there's a guy in the same town as my grandparents, and he works as a barber.
Really?
And I don't know for a fact that he's connected.
Right.
But it's semi-suspicious.
Right.
So he owns his barbershop.
Well, your grandfather lives in Italy, right?
No.
He doesn't?
No. He lives in Connecticut.
Why did I think he lived in Italy? Oh, because you guys went to Italy that one time.
Yeah, we went to Italy together once.
Wasn't he? He was born in Italy, wasn't he?
No.
Why did I think he's born in Italy?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. He was born in New Haven, Connecticut.
Were his parents born in Italy?
No.
Why am I?
He's like 2 generations removed.
Oh shit! Never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So we were actually about to go to Italy on a trip, and we get and we're like trying to get some euros. We don't want to deal with like going to one of those exchange places and dealing with their fee like for however much they give us. So my grandfather was like, go down and talk to Patsy about it. And we're like, okay. And we go down to Patsy's shop and we're like, hey Patsy, our grandfather told us to come and get some cash for you. And he's like, okay, how many euros do you want? And my dad goes, how about 1,000? And Patsy walks into the back and in like no more than 30 seconds walks back out $1,000 in cash.
Holy shit.
1,000 euros in cash.
Right.
And just hands it to us, and we're like, well, how much do you want us to bring you back? And he's like, just bring me back 1,000. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
And we're like, and my dad and I walked out, we're like, who just has 1,000 euros lying around?
And that's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little strange. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, the mob owns a lot of shit.
Jesus.
Actually, one of my uncles owns an HVAC company up there.
Oh, yeah?
And his company grew in about 5 years to be the biggest HVAC company in the state of Connecticut.
Really?
He does all of the deals with the state of Connecticut. No other HVAC company works with the state of Connecticut. It's just him.
You should give my dad his info. I'm sure he'd love to hear from him. My dad works for Goodman Distribution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he worked very hard to get his business to where it is, but also, like, Yeah, it's a little suspect.
It is definitely suspicious.
Yeah, because he only started this company in maybe the 90s.
Wow. That's bizarre.
Yeah, by the time I was born, he was a millionaire and, like,
Shit.
raking in the big bucks.
Well, if any of them winds up in a freezer, I think we'll know what happened.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got family who's done all sorts of stupid things, like, with that stuff. I had a cousin who he leases cars for whatever reason,
Mhm.
instead of buying them, and he needed cash, so he went, and he had insurance on it,
Yeah.
so he lit his car on fire
Oh, good.
to collect the insurance payment, which is insurance fraud.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah, it is very illegal.
Mhm.
And he wasn't smart about it, so he got caught.
Great.
Because he did it in, like, an empty lot. I was like, of course, yeah, no, nobody else brought your car to an empty lot and lit it on fire. You did that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, he got caught doing that, and actually my uncle had to bail him out of jail.
Jesus.
Yeah, my family is very smart and also not smart at the exact same time.
Best of both worlds. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Well, we've been recording for over an hour now.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Shit.
This is a long episode. I mean, it's only the second one, but it's the longest I've ever recorded. What do you say we call it here, bud?
Sounds good to me.
It's been a hell of a time. Why don't you go ahead and plug your channel again if you'd like.
Oh yeah, Qualchi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Qualchi.
Anything else you wanna get out there to the 5 people that'll watch this?
Oh, everybody, go on Twitch and follow Del Kramer on there. DLKRAM 3R.
That's
Instead
right.
of the E, there is a 3.
You will be finding me, probably Quale as well, on there.
If you put up like Del KR, he'll show up.
Yeah.
And you'll
Del
recognize
Kramer.
it.
Del Kramer with a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Hop onto a stream and tell him to chat that Q and Lando sent you.
Yeah, do it. All right.
Alright, well, thanks everybody.
See you potentially
I
in
gotta
those.
go charge my crystals now.
Right. See you potentially in those streams or next episode where I'll be talking to my buddy Jesse Goodman.
Hell yeah.
Once I get back. All right. God bless. Farewell. Love you.